Hey guys, this is part 2 to what's going on in the stars, or what's going on in the sky right now. I had to do a second part because if you're tuning into this, go back and watch the first part, because during the first part, my neighbor's car decided to just start beeping out of nowhere. The car alarm went on, so it just totally threw the whole video off. And I was not going to record all of it again because it had some really good information in it. So check that out. Check that video out before you start watching this one, or you could watch this one. Doesn't matter. Whatever floats your boat. Do what you want. You could watch this one or you could watch the other one. This is basically the ending of what's going on in the sky, because we started out with the sun. We worked our way down to Uranus and Taurus. And that's where I actually had left off. So picking up from there, Uranus and Taurus is basically about women, women, women. That's another thing I wanted to touch bases on before the car alarm actually went off. It reminded me of Mad Liberation, which is funny. It's about liberation. During last time, I believe it was in March that Uranus went into Taurus of last year. And that's when the hot girl summer came about. That whole, the girls doing what they want to, being very, it was a very popular theme of women, just being the head of household, women just kind of conquering everything. Women, showing men that, they really don't need them. I mean, I personally am women are going to hate me for this, but I am an old-fashioned type of woman where I, do need a man, because there are jars I can't open, there are certain things from shelves that I can't get because I'm 5', I'm really short. So men come in handy for those things. And plus, I love men. Why would you not love men? I mean, that's just my preference. But again, don't knock me, okay? I like what I like. And for me, I can't do that. I'm a North Node in Cancer. I'm all about home and family, the nesting type shit. So ignore me right now. But let's just get back into this. So yeah, it's all about being strong, being the feminine, I would say the divine feminine. That a car alarm better not go off again. It's like being the divine feminine. And actually, speaking of divine feminine, that's where I come in. Where this is where I, kind of preach or teach about being the divine feminine, where you could be the divine feminine, but you could also incorporate the divine masculine within your femininity. Get it? The duality, bring it together. But anyway, that's another video for another day. But Uranus being in Taurus is all about the revolution of women. During the last time when Uranus was in Taurus, we had the burning of the bras in the, I believe it was the 70s and the 80s. Women were coming out. Cyndi Lauper wanted to have fun, girls just want to have fun. So we're going back into that right now. And I see, like I said, I see a lot of women, standing up for themselves, letting men know that, if you're not going to, make the first move, I'll make the first move. It's okay to do that now. I'm noticing there's a lot of women photographers, a lot of women music producers, a lot of women DJs, a lot of women, doing a lot of music, which is beautiful. I love to see that. But it's always been around, in a sense, after I think I would say mid 90s, late 90s, when Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and Shakira came in and they kind of took over. Beyonce, hello. But now it's really showing it, with Megan Thee Stallion, sorry. I really don't listen to your music that much. I do know a person who works with you, and she is an awesome girl. Holden, love you. But she always speaks very nicely about Megan, or Meg. I still have to listen to your music, though, and I promise I will. I gotta rep the women. But that's what Uranus and Taurus is about. Being in Taurus and loving music, loving creativity, coming out the box and being feminine, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. And when Uranus is in a zodiac sign that's ruled by Venus, the sign of love, the goddess of love, it's a little okay, I'm gonna go get my hair done. I'm going to go get my nails done. I want to look pretty. I want to look good. And even for the masculine, you guys want to look good. You guys are paying attention to what women like, what makes, you a little more sensitive. And it's okay for men to be sensitive right now, because the Uranus is in Taurus. It's in a feminine sign. But next we have is Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is kind of my favorite in a sense, because it takes Pisces 165 years to move through the zodiac chart. Right now it's in Pisces, and it's in the last house. When it's in the last house, the 12th house is all about enabling spiritual growth. That's why this is my favorite one. I love religion. I love spirituality. You guys know that about me. Anything that makes us a better person, lets us reach our higher self, I'm all in it. I'm all for that. So here, basically, Neptune in Pisces is going to help you spiritually grow. Like, you're going to really understand that the world is actually starting to wake up. There's a global awakening going on, in the sense where people are realizing that, oh my God, there's so many things I could touch here, but I can't because there's restrictions, But anyway, you when you watch the news, you're starting to see the bullshit. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be in Pisces for 25 years. So we have 25 years ahead of us to really wake up and see what's going on around us. There's some of us that are already, awake, and we see it. And all we could do right now is basically guide the ones that are just waking up, and kind of saying you know what, here, come on, sit down, we'll talk. You're not the only one that's crazy. You're not the only one who saw that. And again, it's more in the sense where I think in 2000, I believe it was, and I may be off on my dates, but we moved into technology where, you could FaceTime, you can, do all these things where someone's across, the world, and you can see them on FaceTime and you can talk to them. It was so, different than what me growing up in the 90s. We didn't have cell phones. I didn't have that. The first thing I got was a pager. I'm just seriously giving away my age right now, but it's okay. I grew up on a landline. If I wanted to speak to my best friend, I would have to call her. I would have to call her house and be like, hey, can I speak to Nicole? Hi, is Nicole there? Here we call each other cell phones and we're like, yo, you know what I mean? It's so different. It's such a different world where we didn't have, the internet. If we did something stupid, if I did something stupid, I don't really have memories of it because it wasn't posted anywhere. Self-esteem wasn't an issue. Everyone felt good about themselves because there was no media to look, no social media to kind of interact with. And, you know what I'm saying, the negativity that comes from social media. And as that, increased in technology, technology right now is ridiculous, as you guys know, we can see each other, we can talk to each other without being there, which is pretty cool if you think about it. Now, taking it a step further, in 2017, we had scientists actually perform an experiment where brain-dead patients were being brought back to life, or they were trying to bring back brain-dead patients back to life by using stem cells. It's kind of freaky, but it's kind of cool at the same time. I remember I also noticed that they had a head transplant happen, from a person was paraplegic and they took his head and they put it on another body. That was the freakiest thing I've seen. And I'm dead serious. I did read an article on that, and it wasn't something stupid. It was real. It was for real. But see, the things like that, that's what happens when Neptune is in Pisces, because Pisces is a dreamer. Pisces is the one that thinks about things that nobody else would ever think about. Pisces is also the extraterrestrial area, the aliens, all of that stuff. So if we're able to communicate the way we're communicating right now, right? I'm putting a video out and you guys are seeing it. It's going to be uploaded within 5 minutes, and it's going to hit everything. All my subscribers are going to see it, right? All of YouTube's going to see it. That's how quick this is. Now imagine through spiritual growth, we do the same thing, and we start to actually, come in contact with people that have passed over, or come into contact with extraterrestrials, come in contact with Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, forces we can't see, forms we can't see. If we can do that with technology, why can't we do that with our brains? This is what Neptune in Pisces makes you think. Okay? You actually start thinking about that. So it basically helps you, since, like I said, it's going to be here for 25 years, it's going to help you break down the 3D wall, where you're actually going to start understanding the 4D, the 5D, the 60, the 70, the 90. So this is where things are actually happening. 3D is just here. It's very mundane. That's how I look at it. It's very robotic. Once you break out of that and you start noticing the robotics in it, you'll be able to pull yourself out. This is where people start to see the glitches. This is where people start to wake up and understand their dreams. There's going to be people that are going to wake up and from a dream and are going to be like, oh wait, I saw the mailman deliver this, letter to Susie, and they're going to go outside, open their mailbox, and there's a letter to Susie. This is what's going to happen within 25 years coming, where intuition is going to be stronger. This also helped a lot of people transition into accepting yoga, juice bars, full moon circles, witches, basically. You know what I mean? There was a point where people were so taboo about it. Like, you could not talk about spells, you could not talk about magic, you could not talk about meditating without being looked at as weird, you know? Like, here I am openly talking about the planets, you know, and how they affect us in our daily lives. This would be frowned upon, you know, before, but now because of Neptune and Pisces, it's opening it up. Like, here, this is something new, you know. Again, being Pisces, being open, you know, free thinker, open-hearted, open-minded. So this is actually beautiful in that sense, where, you know, you have, you know, a lot of people understanding the metaphysics, and which is a beautiful realm, you know. You understand here, Neptune in Pisces, how to connect with your higher self. You even understand what a higher self is, what your conscience is, what your subconscious is, you know, what you're putting on the template of your subconscious. Because what you put on the template of your subconscious is how you operate from every day, and that's the experiences you call in. You understand these things. That's the beauty of it. You know, you get to embrace it, you know. You get to understand your shadow side, your darkness, you know, and this is actually a beautiful thing, because later on when I touch into Pluto, which is next, Pluto actually shines light in those dark areas, being in Capricorn. Think about it, because Capricorn is about revelation. I'm sorry, Pluto is about revelation, and having Capricorn there, because that's where Pluto is in Capricorn right now, and it's going to be there till 2024. What basically happens is, right now, if the South Node is in Capricorn as well too. So think about that. It's also in Pluto, and it's also in the South Node, which for me it's incredible, because my South Node is Capricorn and my North Node is Cancer. So everybody out there who has a South Node in Capricorn right now, we are actually coming into our past lives, right? Whatever past life we had or lives we had, we're actually coming into that. And we're at a crossroad where we're asking ourselves, is status more important? Is money more important? Is politics more important? Is, you know, working this 9 to 5 more important? Or me taking time off from work and spending more time with my children? Or me actually pursuing that passionate career that I always wanted to do? Or me wanting to, you know, instead of, you know, dating around and not settling down and running away from marriage, want to actually be married now. This is what Pluto in Capricorn does. This is what Pluto in South Node does. I'm sorry, not Pluto and South Node, Capricorn and South Node does. It makes you reevaluate where you're going to move forward. Not only that, Pluto in Capricorn itself is all about that generation of those people born in the, you know, between 1968 and 1977, you know, like our grandparents and our you know, our uncles and aunts. Well, for me, it would be my uncles and aunts at this point. You guys, it would be your grandparents. These people, well, you guys, I mean, if you're under the age of 30, I would say, you know, it'll be your grandparents. If you're over the age of 30, if you're in my, you know, area of bracket of being over 30, it would be your uncles and aunts. You know, God bless you if you still have your grandparents. God bless them. So what happens is, when Pluto in Capricorn during that time, you'll remember that these were the people that were, you know, went to school. These were the people that didn't have cars. These were the people that, you know, had to work hard to get to where they are today. And to them, it was like, you know, we're going to do this and we're going to do this now. That was that attitude. So think about that attitude, and now mark it with the last time Pluto was in Capricorn. Pluto was in Capricorn last time in December of 1762. Again, that same revolution, that same, you know, I'm going to fight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You know, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm going to work hard at this. That also correlates with Chiron being in Aries. Now, Chiron being in Aries goes back to me talking about 1968 to 1977, where that attitude where, you know, Aries is, when Chiron is in Aries, it basically is all about falling, getting up, and trying again. You know, it's not being sensitive. It's not sitting there and wallowing. It's not, remember how I always say, like, if you fall, you don't sit there and think about the fall. You get up and you go at what you want again. That's what Chiron in Aries is. It heals you very quickly. So during this time, while Chiron is in Aries, which it is right now, you're going to heal very quickly. You're going to, if you're rejected, you're going to take that rejection like a, you know, like a cookie, and you're going to be like, this is pretty good. Next, you know, you're going to be very confident in that. If something dealing with your identity, like if you didn't know who you were at this point, now you're going to be like, okay, I know who I am and I'm okay with it. This is why a lot of Chiron and Aries, a lot of rappers came out, you know, and admitted that they were gay, or, you know, that they liked the same sex. A lot of people came out of the closet and said they liked the same sex, because that's what Chiron and Aries is. It was no longer about repressing who you are, but to shine who you are, you know? So wow, I feel like I just ran into Chiron and Aries. But it makes sense why the sky is the way it is, because you see how it kind of touches Pluto and Capricorn, and then it touches Chiron and Aries. But it does start with that Neptune in Pisces. If Neptune wasn't in Pisces, no one would be thinking like this. No one would be able to accept this. Everybody would still be in that harness mode of like, nah, this is not good. This is weird. This is different. Because we went through that phase already. Now it's all about evolving. So again, Neptune and Pisces, spiritual growth, global spiritual growth. Ugh, it's too many words. But yeah, so like ending it off, it would be Chiron and Aries, like I said, with this conversation where it's all about healing very quickly, getting up and moving forward, you know, not taking no for an answer. I'm just like the women right now. They're not taking no for an answer. They're like, no, fuck you. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm all woman. Hear me roar. You see now, if when you start looking around into the world, it's going to start making sense to you. The planets don't do what they do just for the hell of it. You know, the universe knows what it's doing. It's so smart, you know. If you really take the time and actually like do the research on where everything sits and how everything is like, you know, behaving with each other and how it's getting along with each other and how it responds from one another's actions and reactions, it really starts to make sense. You know, again, me being Sagittarius and Aquarius moon, you know, I could see it. I wish what I see, I could like run a picture of it. Oh my God, it would blow you guys' mind, man. So next up we have is North Node in Cancer. That's something I'm very familiar with. I'm North Node in Cancer, and I'm actually going through my nodal return right now. 3 years ago, I was told that once I hit my nodal return, I would know who I am. I would embrace who I am. I would embrace the abilities that I have, and I would not be afraid of it. You know, if someone would ask me who I am, I wouldn't be afraid of saying, yeah, I'm someone who is very intuitive. I'm someone who, you know, I connect and I meditate and with higher, you know, with my higher self. I would be so afraid to say that, you know, 3 years back, but now I'm very open about it, as you guys can see. And why? Because North Node in Cancer, making that connection, making that heart connection, making that connection with yourself. Now, remember how I talked about the South Node being in Capricorn earlier when I was talking about Pluto in Capricorn? What basically happens is your South Node is what you used to be. So me growing up, I was all about making money, hustling, you know, as much as money I can make, as much as status I have, as much as my friends think like, you know, I'm the shit, you know, I have everything. That's all that mattered to me. Then what happened is my Saturn return hit. I hit my North Node in Cancer. My nodal return I had back in like 2000, early 2000, where instead of feeling what I'm feeling now. See, I had the chance back then to feel that way, but I chose the Capricorn life. I chose the South Node. So you get that choice for yourself, and you'll notice it. That's when in 2000, I believe I was in my early 20s. So I chose the life of making money. I had my dream car at the age of 25. You know, I was making about 75,000 at the age of 25. See that? I chose status, gain, money, and wealth over family. I moved out at 18. I barely saw my parents. I, you know, barely, you know, saw my sisters, because it was all about the importance of my status, my money to me. I did not care about family. Then what happened is I hit my Saturn return at 26, 27. Everything came crashing down for me. And this is the honest to God truth. Everything came crashing down for me, where I realized how family was so much more important. Why? Because my grandpa passed. During my Saturn return, my grandpa passed, which opened up my eyes. Then when that happened, it kind of pivoted me to understanding that I'd rather have jobs where I may not be making as much as money, but I was working less hours because I was spending more time with my family. Saturn return, remember what I said earlier? I was getting joy out of, watching my sister grow up at that time. During that time when I moved back home, my sister was, I think, early teenager. Now, I missed her entire growing up period, like, her second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, because I was out. I was living at home. Now, when I moved back home, I'm able to see, her go through her teenage years. And it was beautiful, to watch her go through everything and be a part of it. Like, I actually have memories of hanging out with her when she was a teenager. See, these are the things that started to matter most to me, like spending more time with my mom, spending more time with my dad, with grandma, with family, actually getting into a relationship. Before, it was so hard to pin me down. So hard. Because I actually got divorced at 26. And after that, it was like, done. I was in and out of that relationship. You just could not pin me down. I just did not want to be tied down to anything. Which, a lot of times what happens is that takes a toll on us and our family members and people that we love that are around us. We think at the time that we're fulfilling what we want. And for everybody, it's different. Each individual is different. That's how the South Node and the North Nodes hit you. For me, it hit me in the sense where it woke me up to understand that family meant more, friendship meant more than making money and being out all the time and just thinking about making more money. So when I moved back home, strengthened that relationship, the Saturn return happened. And now, standing at my North Node in Cancer return again, the nodal return, is a little different where I am home, I am with my family. What I should have chosen to do when I was 20, I'm doing now. I'm working on my own passion. I'm working on this. Before, this to me was just a hobby. It was just something like I would get laughs out of, like, oh, hey, girls are coming over. Let me pull out my tarot deck and just be, funny with it. Or, hey, you know what? Let's just be funny and let's figure out where this relationship is going for you. Because I used to be the person everybody came to for advice for. Now I understand why, because I have that. I possess the ability, the gift to actually help individuals in areas where they have a hard time figuring things out. It's like, I don't know, I listen, I talk to them and they feel comfortable in sharing what they share with me and we figure things out. Sometimes you just need someone to listen to you, and I'm a great listener. I talk as much as I do, but I also listen as well as I do. Now I understand. And the funny thing is, when I had that job when I was making 75,000, I was actually I used to work for a school where I was a director of admissions. My job was to go around to each and every high school and present the school that I worked for and actually, enroll students. So the more students I enrolled, the more money I made. So at one point, I remember I enrolled about 200 students into this one program because we did RN programs and different certifications. And it was all about goals. It was very goal oriented. So at the end of the month, I always used to have a certain goal, and that's what I used to work towards. That's why having a boyfriend, having a husband, all of this is just, I just couldn't do it because goal was everything to me. Getting those students in and, working late hours in the office. That's what my life was about. And now that I look back at it, I actually hated it because, yeah, it was fun getting the money, but I really didn't get enough time to spend it with the people that I loved, that North Node kicking in. So this time around, it's like I want to, help people more. I want to do that heart connection more. I want that life more where I'm able to write my music, play my music. Again, that Cancer, the emotions, because my emotions are tied with my music. Whatever I make is always from a certain emotion, and I love it because that's I actually play my guitar when I'm stressed out or when I have anxiety because I feel like it releases my tension and my pent up emotions through that by playing. And it's funny, I picked up my guitar and started playing it again last year when the North Node moved into Cancer, basically. Before, I used to just kind of play around with music. In school, I actually played drums. And then I always loved to play the guitar, but I just never really thought of it. And then drums, I kind of gave up on that after a certain age. But the whole thing was where when I was 20, I actually had the opportunity to write music, to do poetry, to be, more in a music-based area or music-based people. But I chose to work. I chose to put my that career first. This time around, it's kind of a shift where it's more of that music coming out of me. It's more of the creativity coming out of me, more of the compassion coming out of me. That's because the North Node is in Cancer. Cancer is about creativity, compassion, passion, feeling things, feeling it and not repressing it. So if a lot of you Cancers right now are like kind of like feeling that, that's because that North Node is in Cancer right now. So the opposite sign of Capricorn is kind of like, it's hurting Capricorn because Capricorn is being forced to be a little bit of emotional, like where Capricorns don't have any emotions. This is forcing Capricorn to kind of feel emotions, So that's the kind of like the beauty of it. Like it's such a duality in that, where it kind of takes you from one point to another point. But you could still stay in the same realm where you could make the choice, or you could have both in it. Like right now, I feel like I'm doing the whole dichotomy of it, where I'm also being very like I said, I'm hustling, I'm making my money, but I'm also making it through making music, doing YouTube and doing my tarot readings and doing readings like that. So I'm incorporating both things into one instead of just like kind of focusing on one thing like I did last time. Balance is a beautiful thing. That's why it's so important. Why? Because Mars is in Sagittarius. That balance. My will isn't like, just, one vision. It's actually looking at everything and saying, how can I incorporate it together? Because that's what Sagittarius does. Because what we do and what we want to do and what drives us every day is that Mars energy. My Mars is in Virgo, so it's very submissive in a sense, where I can lead myself somewhere, but once I psych myself out, like a Virgo, I will not want to do it. So I just have to make sure I'm very optimistic and I'm very positive going about it. But see, again, these are things you understand once you understand what's going on in the sky, what's going on in your chart, who you really are. And again, your chart is your blueprint. Like right now, like I was saying, well, in the first video, I mentioned it, where if someone's born right now, their rising sign would be Virgo, their moon sign would be Virgo, and their, sun sign would be Aquarius. That's a really amazing combination. And as we know it, there's people being born at every second. Someone is probably being born today that has that combination. And this is such a healing combination. It's so ridiculous. It's mind-blowing that we're actually moving forward, because anything in Aquarius is healing. Anything in Aquarius is caring. It's compassion. It's being humanitarian. So even if you have a drop of Aquarius in you, you're a very caring individual, even if you try to act like you're not. But no, that's overall of what's going on in the sky right now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had mentioned earlier in the videos when I started doing them, not earlier in this video, but earlier when I started doing YouTube videos, that I would incorporate more astrology into this and I would try to teach you guys more. So I kind of figured like, it would be important to do it now, because we are just hitting Mercury retrograde soon. We just came out of the full moon, and I'm losing my voice. I don't think I ever spoke this much. But this is really good information, and I'm really happy that I was able to share it with you guys. Because like I said, as I get the downloads and I get the updates, I'm going to make sure that I update you guys. So, yeah. So, that's about it for now. That's all, folks. That's all I got. If you have any questions, guys, please feel free to leave comments. If you want to understand more things, please, hit me up, DM me. I'm NoSheLightworkAF. I'll try to help you out as much as I can. I don't know the answers to everything. I'm still in the middle of learning myself. So as I'm learning, I'm teaching you guys, because I live in a world where there is no teacher and student. You're both together. Sometimes I'm the teacher and you guys are my students, or sometimes you're the teachers and I'm the students. Because a lot of times, you guys hit me up with so many like different information, and it just kind of blows my mind, where I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. That's actually very interesting. And please continue doing that, because I love it. Because while you guys are growing, I'm growing with you. But it's just that we all, like I said, we all have our own different, journeys, but it's awesome that we can kind of correlate through the journeys and kind of help each other out in a sense. Like, it's kind of like, passing that baton on when you're running, in those relay races, I guess that's what they're called. Yeah, the triathlons or whatever, where, I don't know, the baton races, where like one dude's running and then you pass the baton off to the other guy. I'm happily, here passing the baton off as the information you guys needed. So yeah, man, just hit me up if you need me. I'm here for you. So yep, make sure you hit the subscribe button if this is your first time watching. To my subscribers, thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like button and the notification bell. So I'm gonna be posting up the rest of the the readings for Taurus and everybody else. So make sure you guys keep up on that. All right. I'll see you guys next time. And thank you. Thank you again so much for this. All right. Bye, guys.